Hello everyone. Hi everybody. Good morning. Am I audible, guys? Okay. All right. So welcome back to this revision episode of Biostats. Okay. So yesterday we covered screening and epidemiology. Okay, today we are going to talk about biostats. So it's a quick revision. I'll try to sum it up in 1 hour 15 minutes for all of you. Okay, before I begin, please remember Unacademy today is the last day to avail this amazing offer where you're going to get 25% off on your medical PG subscription, guys. Okay, you can use my code PSM10 to avail this offer as well. Okay, you can use my code PSM10 to avail this offer, and this batch is available, which is a NEET PG combo offer where you're getting live as well as recorded classes, which will be offered for 17,983. Okay, so today is the last day to avail this 25% off on medical PG subscription. And also we have helped a lot of learners to achieve their goals, and I hope we can become a part of your journey as well. Okay, then there's this NEET PG next or NEET PG, whatever it is, the batch which is starting. Okay, this batch has started from 28th of March, so it's not yet too long. I mean, it's just been 2 days, 1 day. You can avail this batch still. 9 months ka batch hai for 21,580. All your wonderful educators will help you achieve your goal in this. Okay, and you can use my code PSM10. Okay, so this is about the batches. Plus, we are running a high yield revision batch on Unacademy stores, and last mile preparation batch is also available on Unacademy stores. So for any of it, you can use my code PSM10. Just remember, today is the last day to avail the 25% off offer. Okay, chalo, now let us start with biostats, guys. Now biostats, please don't get worried about biostats. Okay, its application of statistics in the field of medicine. Okay, now there are certain topics for which I have brought the MCQs because those topics are repeatedly asked. Okay, so the topics that will be repeatedly are asked will be covered in this class. Okay, all the topics that are repeatedly asked. So the first one, of course, is the types of variables. Okay, the first one, of course, is, what is your answer over here? Which of the following is a continuous variable? Blood group, weight, religion, or gender, sex? What is it? Yeah, very good. Okay, guys, good. So you all know now that the continuous variable, of course, over here is weight. Okay, now why is weight a continuous variable over here? Why is weight a continuous variable over here? That's the real thing. Okay, so in biostats, remember, there is one topic which is classification of variables, guys. Okay, so whenever you have to classify the variables, you have to divide it into two things. Okay, one is quantitative, all right, and the other one is qualitative. Okay, what is quantitative, guys? Quantitative can be measured, all right, they can be measured, at the same time they can be compared. ठीक है, एंड व्हेन आई से क्वालिटेटिव का मतलब क्या होता है? क्वालिटेटिव मीन्स कैन नॉट बी मेजर्ड. ओके, कैन नॉट बी मेजर्ड, आप मेजर नहीं कर सकते, एंड दे कैन नॉट बी कंपेयर्ड. ओके, दे कैन नॉट बी कंपेयर्ड. नाउ व्हाट डू आई मीन बाय मेजर्ड? मेजर्ड मीन्स that there is always a unit, guys. Okay, like over here, weight has a unit. Does it have a unit? Of course it has a unit, like it can be expressed in kgs or grams. So we all know that weight has a unit. Plus my weight could be more than your weight could be less than somebody else's weight. But if you look at blood group, do you have a unit to measure blood group? Unit है कोई blood group को measure करने के लिए? नहीं. Either you're A positive, B positive, AB positive. We don't have a unit which is going to measure blood group. And if suppose I am A positive and Purbi is also A positive, can I say that I am more A positive than Purbi? No. So that is the difference between quantitative and qualitative. Okay, quantitative, whenever you get a variable, you think whether it has a unit or not. Okay, so quantitative में बहुत examples आते हैं, weight, height, hemoglobin, all blood parameters, all of them have a unit. Qualitative में you have gender, male, female, transgender, we can't measure that in a unit, okay? Or you have blood group, ठीक है? Or you have religion. Now can we measure blood group? No, we can't measure blood group, okay? So that's the first classification, quantitative versus qualitative. What is the next classification of variables which is asked in your exams, guys? What is the next classification? The next classification of variables which keep coming in our exam is continuous and discrete, okay? What is it? Continuous and discrete. Now what do you mean by continuous? Continuous may they can take up many values, okay? They can take up variables which can take up many possible values, okay? बहुत सारे values ले सकते हैं, and they can also take up and also in between values, okay? Also in between values. And what are discrete variables? Discrete variables can always take up fewer values, guys, okay? Fewer values and no in between values, ठीक है? No in between values. What do I mean by this? It simply means that continuous variables को आप decimals में express करोगे, discrete को no decimals, okay? It's not possible to express the discrete variables in decimals. So a simple rule that you're going to follow over here, everybody, is that all the quantitative variables, okay, all the quantitative variables, guys, when you talk about all the quantitative variables, okay, all the quantitative variables are continuous and all the qualitative variables are discrete, okay? All the qualitative variables are discrete. Like example over here, height, weight, they can be expressed in decimals, right? Hemoglobin. But if I ask you, very good Hemant, like gender is discrete, obviously can you, either you are male, female, transgender, you can't lie in between male, okay? You can't lie in between. If you talk about blood group, okay, either you are A positive, AB positive, B positive, you can't lie in between. Did you understand? So just remember a simple rule: all quantitative variables are continuous, all discrete variables are all qualitative variables are discrete, okay? So I'll give you an example. If I ask you age in years and months, ये क्या है? Which type of variable is this? Is it continuous or discrete? Put it in the comment section. Age in years and months, is it continuous or is it discrete? What do you think? Age in years and months, अगर मैं आपसे पूछूं, is it continuous or is it discrete? If I ask you somebody's age is like 20 years 5 months, okay, so अगर किसी का age 20.5 है, this is continuous or this is discrete? Now you can express this in decimal. Very good, ये हो गया continuous. But if I ask you age group 20 to 25 years, okay, and 26 to 30 years, तो अगर मैं आपसे पूछूं all those who are in the class between 20 to 25 years, you come and stand on one side of the group, and all those who are between 26 to 30 years, you come and stand on other side of the group. So when I talk about age group, guys, age group क्या हो जाता है? Please remember, whenever we talk about age group is discrete, okay? Age group is discrete. Either you're going to fall in 20 to 25 years or you're going to fall in 26 to 30 years. Got it? Understood these type of variables? Just ask yourself, do they have a unit? If they have a unit, that means they are quantitative. If they are quantitative, that means they are continuous. ठीक है? चलो. Now, next topic which is important is what is the scale used for measuring these variables? So what is the answer to this? Just a second. Anybody? What is the answer to this? The scale used in measuring presence or absence of risk factor is nominal, ordinal, interval or ratio scale. So this is the second topic. Okay, we will look at one MCQ and the topic, one MCQ and the topic, so that it gets into your head and you're able to revise also. Okay, so what is your answer? Very good, guys. Why is it nominal scale? Obviously the answer is nominal. Okay, now remember, all the types of variables that we have to measure them on different scales. Okay, so there is always what is known as scales of measurement. Okay, and these scales of measurement are further divided into two groups. Okay, one is categorical and the other one is डिमेंशनल स्लैश मेट्रिक. ठीक है, एक हो गया आपका कैटेगोरिकल स्केल एंड द अदर वन इज डिमेंशनल स्लैश मेट्रिक. डिमेंशनल स्लैश मेट्रिक इज फर्दर डिवाइडेड इनटू interval scale, okay, or ratio scale. Okay, interval or ratio scale. So please remember one very simple rule again, that all the quantitative variables, okay, all the quantitative variables, they are measured in which scale? Dimensional or metric scale. जितने भी quantitative variables हैं, they will be measured in dimensional or metric scale. And categorical को we further divide it into two, which is most commonly asked. The most commonly asked PYQ is the categorical scale. Okay, so this is further divided into nominal scale and ordinal scale. Okay, it's further divided into nominal and ordinal. Now all the qualitative variables, guys, all the qualitative variables are expressed in the form of categorical scale. So this is further divided into nominal and ordinal. Nominal is simply based on names, okay, and ordinal is where you can express in an order. Okay, like ordinal में बहुत सारे questions आते हैं stage of cancer. ठीक है, is it stage 1, stage 2, stage 3? So that's an order. Okay, then Glasgow coma scale. Okay, then child pug score. ठीक है, child pug score. Or if I ask you severity of anemia, okay, severity of anemia, is it mild, moderate or severe anemic? ठीक है, so all that is an order. Grading of hypertension, okay, all that is an order. Likert scale, are you satisfied, dissatisfied, extremely satisfied, वो सब एक order है. And nominal is based on names. It simply means, do you have, like if I say, do you have hypertension? The answer is yes or no. That's not an order, guys. Okay, so nominal में very commonly asked presence and absence of disease. Okay, presence and absence of disease, that is nominal. Okay, how many boys are in the class, how many girls are in the class? So gender, now gender is not an order. We can't say males are better or females are better, ऐसा नहीं बोल सकते हैं ना. So gender is again nominal. Blood group, either you are A positive, B positive. I can't say A positive is better than. So wherever you cannot place in an order and it's a qualitative variable, it's a nominal scale. Got it? Okay, now pain, visual analog scale. So right, if you talk about visual analog scale, okay, that is for pain severity. You can grade, you can put pain in an order. Okay, तो वो तुम्हारा ordinal हो जाता है. Just think wherever you can put in an order. Now suppose I'll give you an example. If I give you type of delivery, what will you say? Type of delivery. Now is it quantitative, qualitative? Of course it's qualitative because we cannot measure it any unit. Now which scale will this be measured in? Can you put in the comment section? कौन से scale में you can measure the type of delivery? Okay, Rameshwar is saying nominal. Trishta nominal, everybody nominal. Very good. Types of delivery क्या हो सकता है? Normal, okay, C-section, induced, whatever. So can I say that normal is always good than C-section or C-section is bad? No. It's just depending on the patient's condition. The pregnant females, this thing we put them in a like either she'll have a normal or she'll have a C-section, or maybe we need to induce or whatever. So type of delivery again is a nominal scale. Like in a community, how many female had a normal delivery? How many female had a C-section? How many female had a induced delivery? Okay, so that is what is nominal scale. Okay, type of delivery. Got it? But if I say birth weight, okay, birth weight, let's say low, very low, ठीक है, normal, high. Now this is an order, okay, so that becomes an ordinal scale. Got it? Everybody understood? So that is scales of measurement. Remember one thing, that all the, yes, that is an ordinal scale. All the qualitative variables are coming under categorical scale. ठीक है, सारे qualitative categorical scale के अंदर आते हैं, in which you have to divide into nominal and ordinal, and all the quantitative variables guys are going under the dimensional or metric scale. ठीक है, so second topic is also done, scales of measurement. Okay, all right, next let us go to measures of central tendency and measures of dispersion. Quick revision on that. Can you tell me the answer to this? I have asked you, I've given you a data set 1820. This is a PYQ only guys. Okay, I'm just covering the topics with the help of MCQs. सो यहाँ पे देखो 18 है, 20 है, 22 है, 24 है, 26, 28, 30. That's my data set. So what is the best central tendency which is determined by mean, median, mode or range? Okay, all right, so most of you I can say are saying mean. Q. Why are you saying mean over here? What is the reason behind saying कि इसका आंसर mean है? Median क्यों नहीं है? Mode क्यों नहीं है? Of course, range cannot be the answer because it is a measure of dispersion. We all know what are the measures of central tendency, guys? Yeah, we all know what are the measures of central tendency. Very good. So we all know that the measures of central tendency, everybody, हमें पता है measures of central tendency is mean, median as well as mode. Okay, we all know that the measures of we all know that the measures of central tendency is mean, median and mode. ठीक है, now range is dispersion. Very good Manas, very good Purbi, very good Nigar. If you look at this data, okay, there is no outliers. There is no outliers. Now what was the meaning of outliers? That's how you're going to identify a data set. Okay, what do you mean by outliers guys? Outliers मतलब क्या होता है? Outliers मतलब होता है too high or extremely high and too low values. Okay, too high or too low values which can distort my data set, like pull it towards the right or pull it towards the left. Not just bigger numbers, they can be very smaller numbers also. Okay, जैसे मान लो in a class, okay, everybody has a weight between 50 to let's say 70 kg. Now someone who's of 110 kg walks to your class. All of us turn and look at that person and we make that person feel out of the place. Okay, so वो हो जाता है outlier. Just like in a data set, you can have too high or too low values. So when you have outliers, it becomes a skewed data set. In that case, mean cannot be used. Okay, but now look at another question. Look at this question. What is your answer to this question? This is also a PYQ. Tell me your answer to this question. The number of malaria cases reported during the last 10 years in a town is given below. 250, 320, 190, 300, 5,000, 100, 260, 350, 320 and 160. Now look at these two data sets. What is the difference between this data set and the previous data set, guys? Previous data set did not have any outliers. Did it have any outliers? No. अब यहाँ पे if you look at this number 5,000, it appears to be an outlier. Why it appears to be an outlier? Because it is an extremely high value. Now I'm telling you, outlier can be an extremely high value also or an extremely low value also. But 5,000 कहीं पे भी इस data set को belong नहीं करता. Maybe I was supposed to type 500 and by mistake what did I type? I typed 5,000. मेरे को 500 लिखना था और गलती से मैंने 500 लिख दिया. So this is a skewed data set. Now if I ask you that please calculate mean for this, how do you calculate mean? You all know mean is equal to sum of all observations, right? It is sum of all observations divided by the total number of observations. So if I calculate mean, I will be adding 5000 in the numerator. So in this data set, mean का एक exaggerated number आएगा. But what is median, guys? What is median? If I ask you median, if I ask you calculate the median for this data set, can you calculate the median for this data set? Can you calculate the median for this data set which I have written 21312? Can you calculate the median for this data set? इसका median बताओ quickly in the comment section. Can you calculate what is the median for this data set, guys? 21312. Median क्या है? Very good, Nayak. The first thing that you have to do is don't forget to arrange in an ascending order. If you forget to arrange in an ascending order, purpose is defeated. So we all know median is the middle value. Okay, when what happens? It is the middle value when data is arranged in which order? When data is arranged in ascending / descending order. Okay, so when I arrange this data in ascending order 1 1 2 2 3, okay, so what is the median? This middle value. So median कितना हो जाएगा? 2. Is it clear, everybody? So in the same question, if I go back, all right, if you have to calculate the median over here, 5000 will go towards one extreme. So it's not going to affect my data set. So whenever you have a skewed data set, what is the best measure of central tendency? Median. Okay. So just a few golden lines I will write for you. Remember, statistically, the best measure of central tendency, of course, is mean. Okay, all right. But best measure of central tendency for a skewed data set. Best measure of central tendency for skewed. Skewed data set means whenever you will have outliers. ठीक है, outliers होंगे. Then what is the best measure of central tendency? Median. Is it clear? And how you can identify skewed data set by the presence of outliers? I'm sure you all understood that now. ठीक है, all right. Okay, now do this question. Out of 11 births in a hospital, 5 babies weighed over 2.5 and 5 babies weighed less than 2.5. So which value does 2.5 represent? What is your answer over here? Geometric average, arithmetic average, median or mode? What is your answer? Okay, Ankit is saying C, Renu C, Lakshya C, Himanshu C. So mostly सब C बोल रहे हैं ना. क्यों बोल रहे हो? Why are you saying C? Everybody, why are you saying C? See, you don't have to worry about geometric average. We don't ask you that because that involves logarithms and also उसको छोड़ो. Arithmetic average is mean, we all know. Now in this it is saying 11 births in a hospital. So there are altogether 11 births. Okay, so let's say N1, N2, N3, N4, N5, N6, N7, N8, N9, N10 and N11. So can you see there are 11 births in a hospital, okay? And 5 babies weighed over 2.5 and 5 babies weighed less than 2.5. That means there are 5 babies, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 who weigh more than 2.5 and there are 5 babies who weigh less than 2.5. So 2.5 is in the middle, and when 2.5 is in the middle, everybody, that is nothing but median. Got it? 2.5 to middle में दिख रहा है, so that becomes the median, everybody. Got it, everyone? Okay, so this was an easy question. Okay, one more question I want to give you. Can you calculate median for this data set? Can you calculate median for this data set? 2, 1, 3, 1, 2, 4. Can quickly tell me in the comment section. Okay, Vinod says 3. Anybody else? Nayak says 3. Okay. इसमें, and the previous question that I gave you, what is the difference? See here, what is your total number of observation? N is 1 2 3 4 5 6 है ना. So n is total number of observation is even. Can you see? We have even number of observations, right? हमारे पास क्या है? Even number. So that means first thing in median you have to arrange in an ascending order or descending. So for convenience we arrange in an ascending order. 1 1 2 2 3 and 4 guys. Okay, now you've arranged in an ascending order. Now what is it going to be? Now what is it going to be, everybody? It's going to be, the median is going to be the average of two middle values. Okay, it's going to be the average of two middle values. So what are the two middle values? 2 and 2, right? Two values are above and two values are below. So average of two middle values, that means 2 plus 2 by 2. So your answer is 2, not 3. Did you understand? So whenever you have odd number of observations, it is the middle value, but whenever you have even number of observations, it is the average of the two middle values. But please don't forget to arrange the data in ascending or descending order. Mostly we arrange it in an ascending order. And if I asked you calculate the mode for this data set, अगर मैंने आपसे पूछा होता for this same data set 2 1 3 1 2 4 2 1 3 1 2 4, can you calculate the mode, everybody? Can you calculate the mode, everybody? Can you calculate the mode? If n is very long, सुरई, तो एक फॉर्मूला आता है. अगर n odd होता है ना, then the formula is n plus 1 by 2th observation. Okay, and if n is equal to even, then it is n by 2th plus n by 2 plus 1th divided by 2. Okay, so you'll just have to put the total number of observations there, but usually they won't give you very large observations. Okay, so right, did you understand? Otherwise you can use this formula which I've written. They give you simple numbers to calculate. ठीक है, इसका mode क्या होता है? Mode is the most frequently occurring value. Okay, or you can say most repeated value in a data set, right? Most repeated value in a data set. So what is the answer over here? 1 is coming 2 times and 2 is coming 2 times. So 1 and 2. Got it, everybody? Can we go to the next question now? ठीक है. So remember, statistically the best measure of central tendency is mean, because we are including all the observations, sum of all observations. But if it is a skewed data set, everybody, तब क्या हो जाएगा best measure of central tendency? It's going to be median. ठीक है. All right, now next is the distribution. So can you tell me the answer to this? True about normal distribution curve is all except. So you remember, now you have that there's a normal distribution where there are no outliers, and there is a skewed distribution जहाँ पे outliers present है, right? So they are two different types of distribution. So what is the answer to this? Mean, median, mode all coincide. Standard deviation is 1, mean of the curve is 100, total area of the curve is 1. So what is it? Obviously mean of the curve 100 नहीं है. Mean of the curve कितना होता है in a normal distribution curve? I'm sure we have done it many times. There is no outliers. So this is how a normal distribution curve looks like, right? So what is this? This is a Gaussian distribution. Okay, this is a Gaussian distribution. Now if you see this Gaussian distribution, number one, it's a bell-shaped curve. Okay, what is it? It's a bell-shaped curve. Okay, Gaussian distribution is a bell-shaped curve. उसके बाद अगर आप यहाँ पे एक line drop करते हो over here, all right, this becomes what? This becomes the green point. Okay, which is point of coincidence. At point of coincidence, mean is equal to median is equal to mode. Okay, at this POC, Gaussian was the person who discovered it, इसीलिए उसका नाम Gaussian distribution है. What is POC? POC is nothing but point of coincidence. At this point of coincidence, guys, what is it? All the three. There's a single line. Can you see this line? There's just one line. So in the same line, we have mean and median and mode. So mean is equal to, median is equal to mode. Okay, on the same line you have. And now if that mean is equal to, median is equal to, mode is equal to all right, if that mean is equal to, median is equal to, mode by chance is equal to 0, तब उसको क्या बोलेंगे? अगर ये तीनों जीरो है बाय चांस, यू विल कॉल इट एज अ स्टैंडर्ड नॉर्मल कर्व. So you are asked what is the difference between a normal curve and a standard normal curve. For a normal curve, mean, median, mode सब बराबर है. For a standard normal curve, mean, median and mode is equal to 0. Okay, and here you can see 50% observations are above and 50% are below. So that means what is total dispersion or spread of data? 0.5 towards the right, 0.5 towards the left. So total spread of data or standard deviation is 1. So for a normal distribution curve, always remember mean is 0 and standard deviation is equal to 1. This is very commonly asked, guys. Mean 0, standard deviation equal to 1. So what is the total area under the curve? The total area under the curve is obviously 0.5 plus 0.5, which is equal to 1. Got it, everyone? This is a basic. Now isi mein se I just want you to look at one more thing before we go to this particular thing. Can you tell me the answer to this? If mean, median and mode are 10, 16 and 12, the distribution is, what is this? Now first look at this question, then we look at the explanation. Mean, median and mode are 10, 16 and 12. ये क्या है? Symmetric, normal, positive skewed, negative skewed. Put in your answers, everybody. If mean is so much, median is so much and mode is so much, तो आंसर क्या होगा? So now here you can see, are mean, median, mode equal? No. So it's not a normal distribution curve, right? Now यहाँ पे आपको दिख रहा है that mean is equal to 10, median is 16, and mode is 22, right? So what do you see over here? Mean is less than median is less than mode. So whenever you have mean less than median less than mode, guys, वो किस तरह का डेटा हो जाता है? That is of course skewed, but here it is less. So this is negative skewed, right? Negative skewed, or you can also say left sided skewness. ठीक है, left sided skewness. So I'll just show you 3 graphs over here. Okay, just come back to that question. ये पहले वाले question का आंसर है. ठीक है, चलो, we have ticked it, so we'll remove from here. Now look at these 3 graphs, guys. Look at these 3 graphs. Look at the middle one first, normal. Okay, so normal में there is no skewness. Can you see there is no skewness? So on the same line you have mean, median, mode. Look at graph number C. Always for skewness, look at direction of the tail. Okay, look at direction of tail. That is very important. आप tail का direction देखो. Now if you look at positively skewed or the image number C, you can see where is the direction of the tail, guys? Direction of the tail is towards the right side. So since direction of the tail is pointing towards the right side, it becomes positively skewed or right sided skewness. ठीक है, right sided skewness. And for positively skewed or right sided skewness, always remember mean is more than median is more than mode. Okay, but look at image number A. Look at the direction of the tail, it's towards the left side, right? So ये क्या हो गया? Left sided skewness or negatively skewed. And for this, mean is less than median is less than mode. So all you need to do is look at the numbers. But what could be an expected MCQ? They can ask you to label the lines in a positively skewed data set and in a negatively skewed data set. ठीक है, आपको labeling of the lines पूछ सकते हैं. So look, in the middle you will always have the median, okay, because that's the middle value. Now we all know for a skewed data set mean is the most affected, so mean नीचे है. ठीक है, and mode is at the topmost. Okay, so labeling also you must know. ठीक है, understood guys? Did all of you understand this? इसमें एक और question आता है that for a normal distribution curve, we'll just revise it. Mean is equal to median is equal to mode. Now suppose I drop a green line here. Okay, I drop a red line here. And I drop a purple line here. So green line is cutting my base at a distance of 1 SD on either side, right? And red line is cutting my base at a distance of 2 SD on either side, right? And purple line is cutting it at a distance of 3 SD. So one numerical which is favorite of examiners and which is expected is what is the total number of observations. Okay, so mean plus minus 1 SD on either side covers what percent of observation, everybody? Mean plus minus 1 SD on either side covers what percent of observations? फटाफट बताओ. Mean plus minus 1 SD on either side covers what percent of observations? Very good. ये direct MCQ भी है. It can come as a numerical also. Okay, 68%. Mean plus minus 2 SD on either side covers what percent of observations? So that covers 95% observations. Okay, and one more is mean plus minus 3 SD on either side. Okay, 3 SD on either side covers 99% observations. Got it? So mean plus minus 1 SD covers 68% observation, means mean minus 2 SD 95, and mean plus minus 3 SD 99.5 है, but because हम लोग इतना डिटेल नहीं याद रखने की ज़रूरत है, you can just say 99%. All right, everybody, this is a basic MCQ that can come. If I ask you mean plus minus dash SD covers 100% observations, what will be your answer? Mean plus minus dash SD covers 100% observations. क्या होगा आंसर, anybody? Very good. So there the answer becomes infinite. Very good. Mean plus minus infinite SD. Therefore, you can also appreciate one very important thing, that the tails of the curve, can you see over here the tails of the curve? Okay, they will never touch the baseline. Remember this. Okay, tails of curve guys, tails of curve will never touch baseline. ठीक है, वो baseline को touch कर ही नहीं पाएगा. Alright, that is important. And once in a names paper they asked you, thank you so much Sarai, actually it is gifted to a sister, देखो, and in the sister it's written, this was gifted to my daughter. It's written smart, inspiring, special, talented, elegant and reliable sisters. So, you know, I have taken a bottle and kept it for myself. Anyways, chalo, aims में they asked once, okay, mean plus minus how many SD covers 90% observation. ठीक है, how many SD covers 90% observation? So it is 1.64 SD. Okay, ये एक additional MCQ आया था AIMS में once upon a time. Clear? So we have done this. Yeah, thank you so much. Chalo. So now we have covered this topic also. Okay, types of distribution भी हो गया. We've done types of variables. We've done scales of measurement. We've done types of distribution. Now let us have a look at the other topics as well. Chalo. Now, just a quick look at measures of dispersion. Answer. There are 50 individuals in population and they have the same hemoglobin level. That is 14. Okay. As there is no variability, what is the standard deviation? Anybody? Okay, now what is this topic? Very good. Dekho, this MCQ might have seen previously also, we might have discussed it, but here we have to at the end I'll highlight important points from biostats. Okay, triple N. Okay, at the end karte. There are just a few more topics to go. Let's cover that. Then I'll give you some 8 to 10 high point towards the end. Okay. All right. Now, what is this, guys? This topic is measures of dispersion. Okay. What is this topic? Measures of dispersion. देखो बहुत सारे measures of dispersion होता है. Dispersion means spread of data. Okay. Spread of data around central value. Spread of data around central value. That means if the mean weight is 50 kg, does it mean that everybody's weight is 60 kg in the class? No. किसी का weight 59 हो सकता है, किसी का 62 हो सकता है. So how the individual weights are spread around the central value. So there are different measures of dispersion. One of the most commonly used measure of dispersion is what, guys? Standard deviation. Okay, and for your exams you don't get to actually calculate, ठीक है, but you get to identify the correct formula. ठीक है, all right. Okay, you want me to use buzzword highlighter for buzzwords. Okay, so यहाँ पे buzzword तुम बताओ क्या है. So the यहाँ पे तुम्हारा buzzword क्या है? No variability. Can you see this? There is no variability. Thank you. That's a very good way and that you've told me. Okay, so we can just highlight the buzzwords here. Okay, very good. Okay, so यहाँ पे the buzzword is no variability. Okay, all right, good. Now what is the formula for standard deviation, guys? What is the formula for standard deviation, everybody? You have to know it is square root of summation of mu I minus mu whole square divided by n. ठीक है, but एक और क्वेश्चन आता है that if the sample size is less than 30, then what is the formula for standard deviation? अगर sample size less than 30 है, this is a PYQ. ठीक है, if the sample size is less than 30, तब standard deviation का formula क्या होगा? This is a PYQ. They have given you many times. Very good, thank you. Okay, very good. तब हो जाएगा summation of mu I minus mu whole square divided by n minus 1. ठीक है, this thing you have to know. अब यहाँ पे yes, this formula was asked in INICET also last time. Okay, now यहाँ पे the question says no variability. That means देखो, ideally there is no spread of data. Okay, there is no spread. I'll tell you ऐसे भी, there are 50 individuals. ठीक है, everybody has the same hemoglobin. So just to make you understand, suppose there are 50 people. Okay, all of them have the same hemoglobin. That means mu I everywhere is 14. Okay, everywhere is 14. Now if you calculate the mean hemoglobin also, अगर तुम mean hemoglobin calculate करोगे, sum of all observations, that means 50 into 14 divided by 50, that will also come to 14. Now next step देखो, mu I minus mu whole square भी अगर करोगे, so that is 0 का square तो 0 ही रहेगा. So in the final formula, okay, square root of summation of mu I minus mu whole square by n, the numerator is going to remain as 0 only. Okay, so there is no spread of data. And here I had given you also that there is no variability, so the answer becomes 0. Got it, everyone? Did you understand? So either you can get to identify the true formula, like what is the correct formula for standard deviation, or a tricky question like this. Another very important thing is standard error. I just want you to tell me the formula for standard error. There is something known as standard deviation and standard error. Standard deviation is for individual observations, okay, and standard error, everybody, standard error is always for sample observations. Okay, standard error is always for sample observations. But what is the formula? Can you tell me what is the formula for standard error? How do you calculate standard error? Batao. This is important. You need to know the formula for standard error. Anybody? Is it 0.4? Is it, I've given you mean of 400 variables is 100 and standard deviation is 8. What will be the standard error? Come on. क्या फॉर्मूला होता है? स्टैंडर्ड एरर इज ऑल्सो अ मेजर ऑफ डिस्पर्शन, बट वॉट इज द फॉर्मूला फॉर स्टैंडर्ड एरर? सो प्लीज रिमेंबर, दो फॉर्मूला इस क्लास में, लाइक यू नीड टू नो दिस फॉर्मूला, इट इज़ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, नोबडी हैज़ आंसर टिल नाउ. क्या फॉर्मूला है स्टैंडर्ड एरर का? स्टैंडर्ड एरर इज इक्वल टू स्टैंडर्ड डिविएशन अपॉन square root of n. अब बताओ what is the answer? So what is the standard deviation here? Standard deviation is 8, right? And what is n over here? N over here is the total sample size. ठीक है, always remember n क्या होता है? Total sample size होता है. So what is n over here? N over here is 400, right? N is 400. This is what is the total sample. N is equal to 400. So standard deviation is 8, and you will do square root of 400, right? So 8 upon square root of 400 को आप लिख सकते हो 20, right? Square root of this you can write 20. So this will come to 0.4. Very good. So most of you got it as 0.4. Just remember this formula, that standard error of deviation is standard deviation upon square root of n. Okay. But if I gave you a question, where I say there is a class of 100 students. Okay, the mean weight, okay, I just try to do it, okay, mean weight of the students in the class, let's say, is 50 kg. All right, now next thing I write for you is the prevalence of obesity in the class is 10%. I am not giving you standard deviation here. So what will I ask you to calculate? You have to calculate standard error of proportion. Okay, because I have not given you the standard deviation, इसीलिए मैं standard error of mean नहीं बोलूँगी. I have given you prevalence of obesity. So what is the answer over here? I'll tell you the difference between standard deviation and standard error. Just give me a moment, okay? Standard error of proportion का formula क्या होता है? Now look over here. The important thing is the prevalence has been given to you. So that prevalence is written as 10%, everybody. I have not given you standard deviation. So whenever you are to calculate standard error of proportion, okay, you have to know these two formulas, standard error of mean and proportion. Standard error of mean is standard deviation upon square root of n. Standard error of proportion is square root of pq by n. Okay, so p is equal to the prevalence which is given to us, and q will always be 100 minus p. Okay, q क्या होगा? q is always going to be 100 minus the p. p यहाँ पे कितना दिया हुआ है? 10%. So q तुम्हारा कितना हो जाएगा यहाँ पे? What is going to be q, everybody over here? 100 minus, this is p, right? p is 10%. So minus 10, which is 90. So this will be equal to 10 into 90 by 100. So n तो 100 है ही sample size. So this will become square root of 900 by 100. So square root of 9, which is equal to 3. Got it, everyone? So two important formulas that you must know. One is standard error of mean, which is standard deviation upon square root of n, and one is standard error of proportion, which is square root of pq by n. Okay. Now before I go to that other question, somebody, I just need a place, 1 second. Okay. Okay, now just a quick look at what is the difference between standard deviation and standard error. See, please remember, standard deviation is always meant for individual observations. Okay, it is meant for individual observations. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? It means that suppose there are 50 students in the class. Okay, mean weight is 50 kg. Alright, so 50 kg is in the center. So how are the individual weights dispersed around it? ठीक है, individual weights कैसे dispersed है? All right, how are individual weights dispersed around it? Okay, so when you have to do that, you will use standard deviation. Got it? But suppose now if I have samples, okay, sample observations के लिए we use standard error. What do I mean by that? It simply means it is the standard deviation of sample means. That means what? That suppose एक बहुत बड़ा population है of 10,000. Okay, now can I calculate the mean weight, take the weight of everybody and calculate the mean weight? Not possible. So हम लोग छोटे छोटे samples लेते हैं, like 500 ले लिया, 100 ले लिया, and we calculate mu s for that. So how the sample means are distributed around the population mean, उसके लिए हम लोग standard error use करते हैं. Got it, guys? So standard error is deviation of sample means around the mean weight. Okay, and standard deviation is dispersion of individual values around the mean weight. बस इतने याद रखना. Standard error मतलब we are talking about sample observations, and there are two formulas for it: standard error of mean and standard error of proportion. Got it? Surai, did you understand? Okay, all right. Chalo, next topic is very, very important: test of statistical significance. What is the answer to this? Which or one of the following tests should be applied to compare, which one of the following tests should be applied to compare hemoglobin level of two groups of antenatal mothers? Chi-square, paired t-test, unpaired analysis of variance. Very good. So this is the topic of test of statistical significance. Now here you divide it always into two types, okay? Parametric and non-parametric, okay? This is a very important topic. You could be asked about the difference also, okay? Parametric, non-parametric. Now when I talk about parametric, in this what do? We consider which variables? Quantitative variables. ठीक है. नॉन पैरामेट्रिक में, so this is the buzzword here, the quantitative variables. Whenever we talk about the non-parametric test, we use which variables? Qualitative variables. ठीक है. All right. So when we are talking about quantitative variables, that means we compare what? Means and STs. For non-parametric test हम लोग क्या compare करते हैं? We compare always percentage and proportions. Okay, parametric is being used for normal distribution. All right, non-parametric everybody will be used for skewed distribution, and which is going to be more powerful? Parametric is more powerful. Non-parametric, guys, is less powerful. ठीक है, that's the most important difference. But in the question you will look out what is it that you're going to, how to identify should you use a parametric or should you use a non-parametric test. You have to first identify which is the type of variable that we are talking about. Okay, so यहाँ पे मुझे बताओ, you're talking about hemoglobin. Now hemoglobin is quantitative or qualitative? Which type of variable is hemoglobin, guys? Anybody? Quantitative है या qualitative है? If I talk about this hemoglobin, hemoglobin is quantitative or qualitative? Can you measure hemoglobin? Do you have a unit to measure hemoglobin? Of course we have. Gram per dl. Okay, my hemoglobin could be 11 gram per dl. Yours could be 12 gram per dl. Somebody's can be 10 gram. So we can measure hemoglobin also in a unit. Plus we can compare also. So we know that hemoglobin is a quantitative variable, okay, which can be expressed in means and STs. So now we are sure that we have to use a parametric test. The important thing is, what are the parametric tests? So please remember here one thing which I want you to remember. is, if I talk about parametric tests, guys, how will you remember the different parametric tests? Associate them with alphabets. Okay, all the alphabets are like parametric test. Okay, so the first one, there was a person known as student. Okay, so student discovered what is known as student t-test. Okay, t-test may you have, so T is an alphabet, right? So alphabet means parametric. You have paired, unpaired. Okay, paired means you have to compare, let's say, hemoglobin in a single group. So you compare means in a single group. Okay, you compare means in a single group before and after intervention. Okay, like I can compare mean hemoglobin in a group of malaria patients before treatment and after treatment. Unpaired means we are comparing mean hemoglobin in two groups. Okay, group of malaria patients and dengue patients. So here the buzzword is single group. Here the buzzword is two groups. And then we have another one, which is what? We have another one which is ANOVA, analysis of variance, in which you have to compare, let's say, mean hemoglobin in more than two groups. Okay, so here all are alphabets. Can you see this? Okay, so यहाँ पे अगर तुम आते हो, it's simply saying compare hemoglobin level of two groups of antenatal mothers. So you have two different groups and you have to compare hemoglobin. There are only three tests in parametric that you need to remember: paired, unpaired t-test and ANOVA. So for two groups, what do you use? Unpaired t-test. Okay. Alright, okay, chi-square ka bhi question I'll show you. Now let us see one more question. Suppose I ask you which test you will use. Okay, which test is to be used to study relationship between OCPUs and breast cancer. इसमें क्या लगाओगे बताओ? First just tell me, you have to use a statistical test to find out the association between, okay, which statistical test is to be used, okay, to study association between, okay, association between oral contraceptive use and breast cancer. So can you tell me, will you use a parametric? पहले ये बताओ, parametric या non parametric? कौन सा टेस्ट लगेगा यहाँ, parametric या non parametric? पहले ये बताओ, and why? Will you use a parametric test here or you're going to use a non parametric test here? Why will you use a non-parametric? Now see, here always look at your outcome variable. So it's breast cancer. अब मुझे बताओ, when you look at breast cancer, can you express breast cancer in means? क्या मैं बोल सकती हूँ mean of breast cancer is something? Can you express breast cancer in a unit? Can we measure breast cancer? No, we can't measure breast cancer. But of course, I can say that in a community, 20% women suffer from breast cancer or 5% women suffer from breast cancer. So always look at your outcome variable or look at your dependent variable. So breast cancer can be expressed in percentage and proportion, guys. Okay, it can be expressed in percentage and proportion. And when we have to compare percentage and proportion, we know it is a non-parametric test. Okay, and the most commonly used non-parametric test is a chi-square test. Here we can make it into two groups. See, breast cancer यहाँ पे लिखा है yes no, OCPUs yes no, so it becomes a 2x2 group. So 2x2 group comparing percentage and proportions, most commonly we can use is what is known as a chi-square test. Okay, so I'll just make a chart over here, guys. देखो, on one side you have parametric tests, on the other side you have non-parametric tests. Okay, So you at least have to know the names. Okay, parametric test को कैसे याद रखोगे? By alphabets, that it has alphabets. Non-parametric test has all fancy names, okay, associated with it. So parametric is, you can remember by alphabets. Non-parametric, you can remember it's associated with fancy names. How? अब देखो, on the parametric side guys, okay, the first one that you have is the person who discovered it, student t-test. तो यहाँ पे I've already told you paired, unpaired. Okay, paired is for one group, unpaired is for two groups. Okay, these are the buzzwords here. Now on the opposite side, on the non-parametric side, you're going to have their friends. Their friends you will remember by fancy names. So what was that fancy name? Wilcoxon discovered, Wilcoxon sign rank test. Look at the fancy name it is. Another one, at least non-parametric में interpretation chi-square का आता है, but नाम तुम्हें याद रखना चाहिए, McNemar test. For unpaired, on the other side you have Wilcoxon rank sum test, and also you have what? Man Whitney U test. And for two groups we can also use, very important, chi-square test. ठीक है, वो भी use हो सकता है. Then so can you see all the fancy names this side? Okay, that's how you have to remember. Second over here is ANOVA. ANOVA में हम क्या कर रहे हैं? 3 groups and more. Okay, 3 and more than 3 groups. So here the buzzword is this. Now iska contrary on this side is what? You can very well use a chi-square test, and there are 2 more tests whose names you must know. Like I said, fancy names. One is Friedman test, and the other one, everybody, is Kruskal-Wallis test. Did you understand this table? Okay, so you have to remember the buzzwords. When you talk about alphabets, it will be parametric. When you talk about fancy names, it's going to be non-parametric. In this, we are mostly asked about the interpretation of chi-square test. Okay, whenever you'll be given a question of non-parametric, mostly they will be asking you about chi-square test. Now just look at this question. Just tell me which test will you use, parametric or non-parametric, based on the variable. पहले ये बताओ, will you use a parametric test here or a non-parametric test here based on the variable? Height of a group of more than two and more than 2 groups, chi-square कभी भी use हो सकता है. Okay, it's not just for a single group. Like suppose I have to compare prevalence of obesity in a group of women before and after some dietary regime. So that is a single group and you're looking at prevalence of obesity. Then in a single group you can't use chi-square. ठीक है, अब यहाँ पे क्या आंसर होगा? पहले मुझे बताओ, parametric या non-parametric? First tell me, will you use a parametric or a non-parametric test here? Then I'll go last thing to the graphs. Okay, will you use a parametric test or a non-parametric test here? So what are you comparing? Height, right? You are comparing height. Height कैसा variable होता है guys? Quantitative, right? Continuous quantitative. So we definitely know that we will use a parametric test, right? Now okay, just rule out the non-parametric here. chi-square तो non-parametric है, out of the box. Now what did I tell you? Parametric के साथ you have to remember the word alphabets. Okay, that means now the only thing which is important here is look at the number of girls, 40 girls and 40 girls of same age. ठीक है, so here the trick that you have to use is that my sample size has become more than 30. So when the sample size has become more than 30, okay, in place of t-test, अगर ये sample size mention नहीं होता, alright, if the sample size was not mentioned, which one you would have taken? Like everyone is writing 40 girls aged 9 years was itna centimeters and 40 girls of the same age was itna centimeters. That means here you have two groups, right? यहाँ पे आपके पास two groups हो गए. So you would have used a unpaired t-test, not a paired t-test. Okay, we would have used an unpaired because we have two groups. But since the sample size is more than 30, here we will use what is known as z-test. Okay, this is used in place of t-test. Okay, in place of t-test, z-test is used in place of t-test when the sample size everybody is more than 30. Got it? Everybody. Otherwise दो group थे, sample size नहीं दिया होता, you were comparing height, so we would have used a parametric test. But here it was given the sample size, therefore we have used what? Therefore we have used a z-test. Clear? Okay. So coming to one last thing, I just want to show you some diagrams. Can you tell me which statistical diagram is this? Quick look at some statistical diagrams. ये कौन सा diagram है guys? Can you tell me which diagram is here? This, you are comparing percentages for company A, B, C, D. Plus there is a gap in between. So this is what? Very good. This is a bar chart. What does a bar chart do? A bar chart represents the frequency of discrete variables. Okay, और इसको क्या बोलते हैं? This is a simple bar chart. Okay, this is a simple bar chart. Okay, which is expressed in percentages and proportions. All right, bar chart. Now what is this? Here you can see that in one bar में ना हमेशा याद रखना, there is, you can like, it has 3-letter bar and gap also has 3 letters. So this is what? This is a component bar chart. Okay, component bar chart. All right, look at these two diagrams over here. Now since they have a gap, they are bar. Okay, क्योंकि इसमें gap है, they are bar. They will represent frequencies of discrete variables. This one over here is which one? Multiple bar. This one is in different components, so this becomes a component bar diagram. ठीक है? But what is this now? Look at this. We are expressing the height. So when you express the height, is it discrete or is it continuous? We all know height is a continuous variable. There is no gap, so we can't use a bar. Okay, so what is this? Here we are using something which is representing frequency of continuous variables. And what is the continuous variable here? Height. So this is, what is this? Qualitative, no? Discrete क्या था? So right, discrete was qualitative. Either, I'll just write it, okay? Either you say discrete frequency of discrete variable बोलो, या तुम उसको qualitative बोलो. Qualitative is always discrete, okay? Like gender, religion. Okay, but here it is continuous variable. So frequency of continuous variables को we are representing by histogram, like height. Okay, height is continuous. All right, now if you join the midpoints over here, okay, if you join the midpoints over here, can you see we have joined the midpoints of the histogram by straight lines? Okay, we are joining the midpoints of the histogram by straight lines. इसको क्या बोलते हैं everybody? This is known as frequency polygon. ठीक है, frequency polygon, not an ogive. This is a frequency polygon. We have joined the midpoints by straight lines. What is this? What is this? Now this is what is known as line diagram. Okay, what do we express in line diagram? Trends of an event with time. Or you could also say incidence of disease with time. Okay, incidence of disease with time, I mean, are the cases of a disease increasing or decreasing? But if the cases of a disease are constantly increasing, okay, if you use the word cumulative increase in cases, तब आप क्या याद यूज करोगे? क्यूमुलेटिव इंक्रीज इन केसेस, आई मीन देर इज नो डिप. Okay, the cases are constantly rising. Also you can use then is recurrent cases. ठीक है, somebody suffered from TB, got cured, again suffered from TB, so that is a recurrent case. In that case we use what is known as ogive, okay, or cumulative frequency curve. ठीक है, हम लोग क्या यूज करते हैं? ogive या cumulative frequency curve. Okay, there's constant increase in cases. All right, what is this? We all know this is for qualitative data, which is what? For qualitative data, everybody. So this one right over here is a pie chart. Okay, this one right over here is a pie chart. It is expressed in terms of percentage and proportions. Okay, percentage and proportions, everybody. Okay, so pie chart is used to represent qualitative variables. जैसे मान लो I tell you that balanced diet. Okay, you have to teach a community about balanced diet. Now when you have to teach a community about balanced diet, we should have 10 to 15% protein in our diet. We should have 15 to 30% fats in our diet. We should have 50 to 70% carbs in our diet. Okay, so this thing is percentages and proportions. So when you have to express something in percentages and proportions, you can very well use a pie chart. Yeah, I'll tell you an ogive. Let's look at one more diagram. ये क्या है? This is a pictogram. This is used for a lay person. Okay, an illiterate people who do not understand simple bars, diagrams or any of it. Okay, for them we use this. Now ogive, I'll tell you once again. See, ogive first of all is used to represent a disease. Okay, constant increase in the number of cases. Now if you remember 2021, from January to April, COVID cases were constantly increasing. There was no dip. So हमने क्या use किया? ogive. Okay, there is constant increase. Or even if a person gets cured and again suffers from a particular disease, वो हो जाता है तुम्हारा recurrent case. ठीक है, तो उसके लिए भी हम लोग ogive use करते हैं. But if you see the line diagram here, there can be increase in case, decrease, increase, decrease. So there is a dip. All right, so that is what is line diagram. Got it, everyone? Okay, so we've covered almost all the important topics. Just try to solve some MCQs and you can get back to me on this. And today guys, on the Unacademy app also we will have a class which is PYQs. Okay, previous year questions for INICET, from INICET. This is happening at 12 PM on the Unacademy app. Okay, on the Unacademy app. This is absolutely free, so you can attend it. Okay, at 12 PM today. See, Hemant, quality ogive ये सब quantitative के लिए. 1 second, I'll just do one thing for you. For quantitative variables, okay, look at this. For quantitative variables, what are the graphs that you can use? Number 1, ध्यान से सुनो, histogram. Number 2, frequency polygon. Number 3, line diagram. Number 4, ogive. Number 5, there's one more, scatter diagram, where we talk about the correlation coefficient. Scatter diagram ऐसे होता है, okay, where R की value ranges from -1 to 0 to +1. Okay, so positive correlation, or the dots are like this, no correlation, R is 0, R is +1, और ऐसे करके with all the dots on this line अगर होगा, R is -1, that is negative. Okay, so these are the things we use for quantitative. When we talk about qualitative guys, हम लोग क्या use करते हैं? बार डाइग्राम, pie chart, pictogram. Okay, we can also use what is known as a spot map, जो जॉन स्नो ने बनाया था during cholera epidemic. Okay, and also we can use a Venn diagram. ठीक है, got it, Hemant? Okay, rest you can check out my videos on biostats on Unacademy app also, guys, where we have discussed more of questions to help you in your preparation. ठीक है, this was just a quick summary of biostats, the important questions that can come. So please remember, today is the last day to avail this offer till March 31st, where we are giving you a combo of live plus vitals, which is live plus recorded. Okay, you can use code PSM10 to access it, and hope that will help you in your preparation. Alright everybody, so if you're free, you can join at 12 p.m. on Unacademy app for PSM PYQs for INICET. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Thank you for attending. I'll see you soon, everyone. Okay, bye bye. Take care, and take care of your health also, guys. Okay, thank you.